Hello my dear class 10 students, how are you all? I hope you are doing amazing. Well, this is one of the most requested topics by my students. They want the hacks for analytical paragraph because it is tricky. Yeah, I know that, and it's very new that there are some hacks that you can follow so that you can score full marks in analytical paragraph. Okay, so let's start with the hacks. What are those hacks, ma'am? Okay, the first hack is the format, my dear students. Always remember, whenever you're writing and attempting an analytical paragraph, write in one single paragraph. Do not exceed that. Okay, you have a word limit to follow, which is around 100 to 120 words. Follow that word limit and write in one single paragraph. Now, what is the format of analytical paragraph? So you start with the data. Firstly, you write the data, then after that you write the inference. What do you conclude from the data? What inference means? What is the data showing? We'll do some examples. Do not worry. Okay, then you write the conclusion. Okay, always remember, do not give any personal opinion in analytical paragraph. Yes, do not give any personal opinion. The examiner is not looking for your opinion. They are looking for your understanding, how you contemplate the data which is given in a graph form, in a bar chart, histogram. Okay, and how do you explain it in words. Okay, that is the only thing that they are looking for, plus the inference. What do you conclude from that data? No personal opinions required. Okay, now let's start. When you're writing the introduction, always start with the above table. The given chart describes, the given table suggests, the data given provide information about. Okay, so firstly you start with the data, what is given. Okay, so you start the above table suggests. If you're given a table, you say the above table suggests. If you're given a pie chart, the pie chart illustrates. Okay, remember them whenever you're starting it. Okay, this is what you should always begin with when you're writing an analytical paragraph. Okay, any one of these is fine, depends what are you given. You are given pie chart, start with the pie chart illustrates. If you're given a table, the above table suggests. Okay, the chart given about describes. Okay, now here are some terms. Okay, so in analytical paragraph, if a trend is there, basically you're given a chart, a data, right, and in there the graph, basically if you're given, let's say, bar graph you're given, okay, and the term there is going down, the graph is going down. So supposedly bar graph, you have rectangles, right? So you have rectangles, then your rectangles are going down, so you use the words decrease, fall, drop, plunge, plummet. Okay, for these kind of things. If the data is going up, if you are seeing the data and it is going up, normally this is for graphs only, right? Your graphs, either they will go down, either they'll go up. If it is going up, you use these words: increase, rise, grow, because there is data and you have to compare that data and you have to infer from that data, right? Then if there is no change, stabilize, remains the same, remain stable, remain unchanged. These kind of words, if you induce in your vocabulary, if you are inducing your answer, my dear students, you are gonna score good marks. Next is for constant change. If the change is constant, so it is fluctuating, unstable, volatile. If position like reach a low, reach a high, peak is there. Okay, then sometimes if you want to get creative, you can simply write whatever data is given. 23% of this thing is given, 25% of this, 30% of this is given. But sometimes you can get a little bit creative. What you can write if 60% is given. So what is 60? It is 2/3 of 100, right? Out of 100, if you use 60 by 100, which is 60%, which is 3 by 5. Okay, well, in place, sometimes you want to get creative, so what do you write? In place of 60%, you write nearly 2/3. Okay, then 52%, which is slightly greater than half, right? So over a half. Okay, then if the percentage is around 25 is a quarter, right? So roughly a quarter. Okay, next 30% students, exactly 30% students, whenever is very little, this purple dot is there, this is very little, this fraction is there, you say small fraction, a very little fraction, small fraction. Okay, so these kind of words, you can, keywords, these are called keywords, you can implement in your analytical paragraph, and that is going to help you score good marks. Okay, why? Because examiner is looking for these keywords. They are scanning your answer sheet for these keywords only. And remember the word limit, which is 100 to 120 words, or whatever is mentioned in your questions. It is generally 100 to 120 words because it is of 5 marks only. Next, in conclusion, you can conclude it. Okay, firstly, you're writing just one paragraph. Start with the introduction. This data indicates that, this bar graph suggests this, illustrate this, right? And then after that, you use those words, whatever the trend is. Okay, so whenever you're answering these kind of questions, remember, you start with either the highest trend. Suppose something in a bar graph, something is at highest, and then you write in contrast the lowest one also. Okay, suppose one thing, I'll show you some question actually. Let me just go. Yeah, for example, here this is the biggest data, right? So you start with the biggest data, then you go to the lowest data. Okay, for like 41% it is, and then you go to the 4% one. Okay, then after that you describe this. Always work in an organized way, my dear students. So whenever you're answering, start with the biggest data, then you do the lowest data, and then you tell the inference about the other data also, but in sequential manner. Either you go from high to low, or you go from low to high. Okay, that you should choose, but do not go messily. Your answer will look messy. You are not inferring the data correctly, and that is going to cost you marks. Okay, so let's start. We were on the conclusion. So if you have conclusion, you can add overall, in a nutshell. To conclude, in the end line, you use to conclude. Whatever you inferred from the data, you write it to conclude in the conclusion part. Okay, then if some relevant data is there, for example, if there is a contrast, like something is very high and the other is very low, so you write it is clearly evident. To showcase some relevant data, right? Something is relevant. For example, in that example, if you remember, the 40% and the 4%, so it is clearly evident, the graph, the difference between whatever the data was about, okay, is clearly evident. Okay, so you write it is clearly evident, then you tell about the data. Okay, I hope it is clear. Okay, one more thing, when you're writing the introduction, right here, the above table suggests whatever is given in the question. Yes, whatever is given in the question, write that right after it. Okay, you read the question, whatever is given in the question, then write that. It will give you 1-2 line, right? You have to complete that 120 words, but how do you write them, that matters also. So start with this sentence, and then you add that line from the question itself. Then after that, you add these filler things, right? If what is the trend is going up, going down, these keywords you implement 5-6 lines to write of them. Then after that, you conclude using these. In a nutshell, to conclude, in summary. Okay, after that, this is a question, my dear students. This is there are different kind of analytical paragraph that have been seen in the recent CBSE question paper. So what are those? Comparison based. So for example, this student has to choose a project partner, and these are 3 choices he have actually. Okay, she have. Okay, 3 choices she has. So you need to tell, based on the features of each candidate, you need to analyze and decide which would be the best partner for Jasprit. Consider aspects as complementary, strength, teamwork, and the project's requirement. These qualities are their strengths, their weaknesses, or everything is given here. You need to tell which is the suitable candidate for Jasprit's project. Okay, so you start with the intro. So firstly, you just tell which you think is the best suited. Okay, just tell that. Dash emerges as the most appropriate for the dash, as the partner of for the art project. Then after that, among the given options, this is the most suitable for this due to the reason you give. Then, or either one of these you can write. These 3 are your options. Okay, among considering the requirements of dash, he or she proves to be the most suitable option. Anything you can write. So in the introduction itself, you give the answer for comparison based analytical paragraphs. Okay, remember, for comparison, when you are given 2-3 people and you have to choose, for example, in a company also, if a company is hiring, you are given 2-3 candidates, which candidate would be more suitable? There is no correct answer for it. All answers are subjective. So whatever you decide, remember to justify it. Okay, so you justify which candidate you selected with 2 points. 2 points you write about justifying that candidate, that's why this is the perfect suitable candidate. Then after that, why you rejected the other candidates. Give 1 point each for all the rejected candidate. In this case, you had 3. Let's say if you chose Alice, then you have to give reason for Sunaina and Tabassum also. Okay, now see, justification is for 2 points, then you do the rejection. Why are you rejecting? You write 1 point each for each of the candidate, and then you give the conclusion. To conclude why you selected it. So basically, in conclusion, just a smart trick I can tell you, whatever you have written here, just summarize it in 2 lines. Just summarize it. Conclusion doesn't need to be totally different from your answer. Obviously, it never will be different from your answer. What you do, you conclude it. How do you conclude it? Whatever you have written, just read it again and you summarize it in 2 lines only. That's the conclusion you need to write. Okay, no personal opinion, nothing else. No your own thoughts that what you thought. In my personal opinion, do not write it. You are gonna lose marks. Do not do that mistake. Okay. Now this is the correct answer. So Sunaina, let's say this child said Sunaina is the perfect choice for the art integrated project presentation. Why? Because again, Jaspreet's creativity, few lines about Jaspreet. Okay, then why Sunaina? Justification. Then after that, why you rejected Tabassum and why you rejected Alice, and then after to conclude, yeah. Yes, that is all. Then you give the conclusion, which is whatever you have decided here. Okay. Now, next for argument based. If you have an argument based analytical paragraph, what is an argument based? So, if you are given this blog, right, it is an argument. So, we are given the influence of AI in the upcoming education sector, right? And we do not need teachers. So, you need to write a paragraph to analyze the given argument. This is the argument. Now, in argument, you can be in favor of the argument or you can be against, like debates only, right? So if you are in favor of, so you need to write in favor of. If you are against it, so you write against it. Okay, so you start with the intro. This given argument suggests that whatever is given, the teacher may no longer influence whatever it is written here only. Teacher may no longer influence in the future for everything that a student needs to learn is there on the internet, and there are hundreds of tools, for example, like ChatGPT, Gemini and everything, right? Then you say one point, why is that true, right? Why is that true? You obviously you have to agree with it. Then after that you write your reasons. Okay, so firstly you do why is it true, right? Then after that, if you are in favor of it, you write your reason for being, but you add a but and then you write the reason if you are in favor of it, or if you are against it, then you write the reasons that are against it. 2-3 reasons are enough. If you write 2-3 reasons, after that you give a conclusion, which is summarize everything that you have written here. Just summarize it. Okay, do not panic. Start with the introduction. Yes, this argument suggests that whatever is given in the question, no need to think about think it yourself. Write straight away. Like do rephrasing little bit, and then after that you write one point why you agree, and then after that, if you are against it, write 2-3 points in against, and if you are in favor of it, write 2-3 points in favor of it, and then you conclude it. Okay, give a conclusion. Okay, now for example, this here, future due to growing availability, they are in support of it, they are against it actually, so they have given argument against it. Education is not limited to acquiring information. Teachers play a crucial role in guiding students, providing emotional support. You have that human connection and everything, right? And then in the end you conclude it. Okay, therefore this is conclusion. Therefore, instead of replacing teachers, technology should be viewed as a supportive tool that enhances teaching and learning rather than eliminating the need for human educators. Okay, so these are the examples. Now you might be thinking, some of you might be thinking that, ma'am, where can we get these all references, all these formats, all these lines? So do not worry, in the description of this video you have the PDF. You can go and download it, and it's very simple. You click on the link, you download it, you give your mobile, there will be a page open where you'll give your mobile number and you'll receive an OTP, and then after that it will be downloaded straight into your system. Okay, it has all the actually not just analytical paragraph, it has the complete English. So your first flight, your book Footprints Without Feet, all the important questions from them, and then we have the formats for all the writing skill section, letter, report writing, notice, and you have analytical paragraph. This everything that I've told here, the common points that you can use in conclusion as like the introduction part, conclusion part, and the keywords. Everything is there in the PDF. Just go and download it. This is one other example. So we are given bar here. This is bar graph, right? So we are given bar graph. Pie charts. These are pie charts. So we have to consumption habits of India, China and world overall in 2008. Okay, write an analytical paragraph describing the pie charts. So something is given here. So the 3 pie charts illustrate. So firstly you start with the data. The 3 pie charts illustrate food consumption habits in 2008. 2 countries, India and China, with global trends. Okay, done. Then after that you explain the data, what is given. You started with the highest, then you went to the, this is in the decreasing order, 41, 29, 39, 34, 29, okay, and then 23. Okay, in the decreasing order they explained the data, and then in summary they concluded it. In summary, processed food dominates global consumption while China shows an exceptionally high intake of nuts and seeds, right? So that's how you do analytical paragraphs. Do not stress out, just read the data, what you think of the data. In the question itself it will be given what the data is about. Okay, then after that start with the introduction. This data suggests that, this chart suggests that, illustrates that. Okay, write that, simply take the line from this question itself. Then after that use those keywords and everything, explain the data either in decreasing order, either in increasing order, and then after that you conclude it. In summary, in conclusion, 2-line conclusion, whatever you have told, summarize it. Okay, do not repeat everything that you have said, just summarize it. Summarizing it is a different thing. Okay, now again, if you want to download the PDF which I have told you about, go to the description of this video. Complete free English is there. Okay, complete English is there, sorry. And then after that you'll be downloading this. Now let me show you the PDF first. This is the PDF. So it has the book First Flight, right, from the prose section as well as from the poem section. Let's go to the poem section. Yes, here we have the important question from the poem section also. All these questions are there, the theme regarding and everything that has been asked in the previous year question papers. Then there, what I was talking with you guys is this Footprints Without Feet. This book is also included, right? All the question from this book also there. And then after that you have letters. Yes, writing skills. These are the 4 kind of letters, and then you have the letter format. Then you have the common lines that you can use, some universal line that you can use while writing these kind of letters. It is also there. Then after that you have the analytical paragraph, report writing format, notice writing format, analytical paragraph writing format, right? Here, see, and everything that I've told you for introduction, these kind of keywords that you can use, and the examples also along with the question, along with the answer. Okay, and again I've added some important keywords also which you should use in your answer writing. Okay, that was all. And one more thing before we leave, my dear students,